So moving on to our next section, I wanted to talk about the key metrics that you need to be measuring in 2025. Let's start by reminding ourselves about something which Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, has said multiple times in the last year, specifically about engagement.
Some advice. One of the most important signals we use in ranking is sends per reach. So out of all the people who saw your reel or your photo, how many of them sent it to a friend in a DM? At Instagram, we're trying to be a place where people can be creative, but in a way that brings people together. We want not only to be a place where you passively consume content, but where you discover things you want to tell your friends about. A reel that made you laugh so hard you wanted to send it to your brother or your sister, or a soccer highlight that blew your mind and you wanted to send it to another fan, that kind of thing. So don't force it as a creator, but if you can, when you're making content, think about making content that people would want to send to a friend, to someone that they care about, and it will help you reach over time. More advice to come. Peace.
So that is something that Instagram has hinted at for the past year, that they are now no longer just looking at likes and comments to determine how well a post has done or how well a post is being received, and that shares per reach are now a key metric that determines how your content performs. So what that means is, particularly on Instagram, more so than any other platform, but you really should be considering whether you have enough content that is going to spark someone to share it with a friend, a colleague, a loved one. And that really does help when it comes to overall seeding in the algorithm. So that's something we will be coming back to. I was really interested this week with Pretty Little Marketer's post on Instagram, The Great Social Shift. So Sophie Miller, who runs the agency, suggests that we're potentially pushing too much engagement as social media managers. We're focusing too much on trying to get people to like or to comment or to vote, when actually we're in the age of the lurker. So most social media users, they don't follow, they don't like, they don't comment. They view, or they might even send as a DM or save. But looking just at your likes or your comments as a metric to determine success no longer paints the picture. And it's something that you yourselves, but also your company, should be moving away from. I do a lot of consultancy with businesses around the UK, and often I find that people are looking at likes as a metric to determine how well a post did. Oh, that one had 5 likes, but that one had 80 likes. When actually it's so much more than that, because the metrics such as shares and saves can really help to enhance your visibility in the algorithm. So trying to re-educate your organization on how we actually value different engagement is really important. And trying to educate your teams that we shouldn't just be looking at likes are still important. I'm not saying they're not, but actually views are important too. And saves and shares can really help seed your content out to new people. Also, we did mention this in our 2025 trend update, but dark social is a big phenomenon. That's any conversations that are happening in DMs. In fact, Instagram have said that DMs is their most active place in Instagram, across all of Instagram. So that inbox is where so much of their activity happens. So think about the fact that so many people are engaging in private channels now. What is it that you can do with your content to make sure that can be shared or sent to someone, whether it's something that's entertaining or valuable, or something that presents the information really clearly that someone might think, oh, this would be useful for my friend or my colleague. So really consider your approach to DMs. And another thing to think about is broadcast channels. So these are rolling out on Instagram. They're not available to everybody, but considering whether your business should have a broadcast channel, or perhaps you're a creator, you might want to have a broadcast channel where you can send out alerts to your audience which are more of the behind the scenes content. It's a completely different approach to what you post on feed or in stories. It's that first look, exclusive VIP community that you're looking to build. I follow quite a lot of broadcast channels, and the ones that I enjoy the most are where you get a sneak peek or you feel like you're involved in the decisions that are being made at the business. So one of the ones I'm thinking of right now is a company in London called Humble Crumble. They sell crumble, and they're at a few of the markets across London. And they will get their community to vote which flavour should be the special each month. And so you can only vote if you're part of the broadcast channel. So I did say that likes are still important and comments are still important, but this year there definitely is a shift towards getting people to view your content and getting people to share and save it too. So actually looking at all of these metrics as a larger mix is important. And I think some of the reasons why these metrics like save or share are more valuable now than a comment is because it really signals to the algorithm that this content is high quality and relevant. If somebody shares your post, then it extends the reach of your content beyond your immediate audience, showcasing its perceived value and increasing visibility. And if somebody saves a post, it indicates that they found the content so valuable and so worth revisiting that they wanted to save that as part of their private pin board. Most social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok consider saves and shares as stronger indicators of engagement than likes and comments. These actions show a deeper connection, a deeper interaction with your content, and tends to help the content perform better in the algorithm. So absolutely think about that whole engagement mix. And I would suggest going forward, if you are kind of counting how many likes or how many comments you've got each month, it's looking at overall engagements and looking potentially at engagement rate as well, which are great metrics to be measuring in 2025. Let's look at a real life example. This is something that one of our member clients posted recently on Instagram. So these insights have come directly from the Meta Business Suite. You can see here that this particular post on the left-hand side received more interactions compared to recent Instagram posts. You can see how many saves and shares that post had, which is wild. It did have more saves and shares than it did comments. So that's really interesting to note that more people were likely to share it than they were to comment on it, indicating this increase in dark social and the rise of DMs. Still has a really healthy like rate though, 19,000 likes. Over on the right-hand side, this is actually the same post, but this is looking at how many views it then had. So because this post had received so many interactions, it also then had more views compared to other recent Instagram posts. And in particular, Instagram decided to show this post to non-followers, 79% non-followers, through recommendations. So they were recommending this content more than anything, because it had had such high levels of interaction, particularly shares and saves and likes. So I think that's really important to look at how Instagram algorithm works in action. Hot off the press just this morning, Mosseri also shared 3 key factors that carry the most algorithmic weight and lead to content being shown to more users. So the top 3 signals that matter the most for ranking are watch time. That's how long people are going to dwell on your video. And also likes, which is another key driver, but certainly not the be all and end all. And also sends. So sends is the last key factor, with the algorithm considering how likely it is that the user will forward this to a friend. So I think it's really important that there is some variance as well, depending on where the content is shown and who it's shown to. This isn't always the case. Likes are slightly more important to show your content to people that already follow you, and sends are slightly more important for showing your content to non-followers. So if your strategy for 2025 is to get more followers and to get more content out to non-followers, then you really need to be thinking about content which is highly shareable on Instagram, and in particular, Reels. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of food for thought around the metrics to measure. I have, of course, focused very heavily here on Instagram. Unfortunately, the other platforms just don't divulge in how their algorithms work quite as openly as Instagram does. So I think Instagram is quite the anomaly there. But I'm very fascinated in the LinkedIn algorithm. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to share more with you in future updates about how LinkedIn specifically is working right now.